repowering is a really fascinating area. I think it's potentially a litigious area as well, because we have seen parcels of land where there's an established site and then an old site, and the developer's looking to repower, and suddenly sticking in two very large machines is going to introduce a greater amount of turbulence and wake effect on the neighboring parcel. So it's looking at things from an insurance perspective, everything is about litigation, and it's about when things get damaged and destroyed. There is going to be a lot of growth in repowering. It makes a lot of sense to do that in some of the older sites, but some of those historic sites weren't necessarily in the best wind regimes. So I think there's, while there's a parcel of land that's easily usable, maybe in Palm Springs, a lot of old sites, is it the best wind regime to put these newer turbines in? Maybe turbines designed for lower wind speeds now, arguably yes. Maybe there's a hybrid solution you can use, or run them slightly differently.
Well, the time is come. We started this, a lot of us, 10 years ago, 12 years ago, and see a lot of familiar faces that were in this journey, some even longer, from the California, where it really is the big, sites that were legacy sites here in the States. It's been done in Europe, so the history's already been done, so the roadmap is done. But now again, the turbines are bigger and faster and more energy and what have you. So looking at the planning is going to be key to, I think, survival of a lot of businesses. The warranties, or majority of the OEMs will put a 20-year stamp on a turbine. If you look at Google.com, you say warranty of a turbine or legacy turbines of how long they last, 20 years. Foundation, 20 years. We're looking at turbines lasting 35 years or even longer. Looking at re-engineering it, saying the foundation's fine. The actual parts of the turbine stacking up is fine, so the foundation all the way up to the nacelle is good. Can it handle a bigger nacelle or a bigger component, bigger blades, what have you? So it's so vital important, because the older turbines, no one's buying the small ones no more, due to the location or what have you. The offshore's coming eventually to the States or the Canadian side of the borders. So it's just, if we don't repower as an owner, we're not going to survive.
Yeah, you're going to see a ton of repowering in the next few years. A lot of older sites are upgrading, so it's almost like the ultimate recycling program, where we're going to take existing towers and foundations, produce more megawatts with some new components in there. So it's going to have a direct impact on the availability of getting components, and we'll see what impacts it has on the aftermarket as well. So it's going to be a pretty important piece in the next few years.
My view is, and I'm going to talk in the past tense, it has been a wonderful opportunity. On December 31st, 2016, essentially, if you hadn't placed your safe harbor purchase orders to the OEMs, you lost your ability to gain 100% of the $23 per megawatt PTC. You can still get 80% this year. I think the companies that acted last year were very clever. I'm not trying to say the other companies were not clever. There's still this year where you can get an 80% of your PTC, but obviously the math becomes a little bit more complicated. For the industry by and large, this is great news, because we're showing essentially to the rest of the industries or the rest of the energy sources that we have this ability of bringing concepts such as life extension, augmenting nameplates and reliability. So overall, it's great news for the industry, but it was largely made possible by that 4-year PTC extension.
I know for us at Leeward, we're repowering right now. We've got several sites that are either in current repower status or will be by the end of 2017 and possibly into 2018. So I think it's something that a lot of wind farms or owners are looking at, and the reason they're looking at it is, again, efficiency. If I can take a site that's got 50 turbines on it, repower and go to 25, I've lessened my maintenance cost and probably made myself a lot more efficient, and I'm either generating the exact same amount or more money through those repower turbines.
DTE's got a fairly young fleet. I think our oldest turbines are probably 5-6 years old at this point. So at least up until this point, we really haven't thought too much about repowering. Interestingly enough, though, at this conference, I started to hear some ideas about how some of the technologies may advance enough in the next couple of years where maybe there might be some economics about repowering some turbine sites a lot earlier than I otherwise would have thought of. So that was something I picked up here, and we'll consider that.